a democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Night in NBA basketball we had last night. We've got news in the NFL, also college football. We've got an opt-out that, that word I'm not supposed to say. Opting out due to coronavirus concerns.
The Rona.
I'm not putting $1 in that jar.
No. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, fuck that jar.
One of the Heisman candidates for this year opting out of the NCAA football season, but the good news is for his team that they have an even better quarterback waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that, plus a sad note in the world of baseball today with the passing of former Mets and Red Sox pitcher Tom Seaver. So, moment of silence, dead at the age of 75. Tom Seaver has passed away. All right, let's get into it. At the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. And also don't forget to comment this week. The comment of the week will be winning a prize pack straight from the Sportsocracy. Sportsocracy merch, as long as a gift certificate to Ohana Nutrition, also included in that prize pack. So be sure to comment and make it funny. And that way, you will be the winner. We'll get together tomorrow to decide who the comment of the week belongs to, and that will be our lucky winner.
We just took hats off, and I guarantee you at least 3 people watching thought I was bald and went, holy shit, he has hair. A lot of it. And then they looked at you and went, there's the bald guy.
Yep, that's the one that makes sense. We've got other news to get into in the program today as well, but let's start off with the NBA basketball last night because we had a series finally coming to conclusion. Game 7 of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. Can I take my victory lap?
Not really.
I mean, I was right.
I mean, it took 7 games. They won by 2. And now we have to talk about James Harden for another 2 weeks, which is not a win for anyone.
Not really. I think you only have to talk about
10 days.
For 4 games.
Yeah, it's about. You don't think they can win a game?
I mean, they might be able to. They might be able to get 1 game. But they're going to have to go up against the Los Angeles Lakers, and this was the matchup that I wanted for the Lakers. And
Why?
LeBron James.
Because who's going to guard Anthony Davis?
Exactly.
That's the only question I have.
Not even him. LeBron James. Who's going to guard LeBron James?
P.J. Tucker will be on LeBron James. I already knew the answer. Him or Covington. Rocco might guard him.
But will he do a good job?
No. They're going to beat them like a kettle drum, and I'm here for it.
Where's my buzzer? I need my buzzer. By the way, yeah, tune in tomorrow. That's going to be fun. There's going to be a shot collar on this dude.
I'm not really looking forward to this. I asked my wife, how bad is this going to hurt? Because she's the one that bought it. And she said, really depends on who's holding the controller. Nope. They hell you will.
We're going to put the shot collar on Jeremy tomorrow just so he can get a taste of what Mamba feels. That's the name of the dog, by the way.
Yes, my dog's name is Mamba.
Why not? I think it's a very appropriate name.
Hey, here's the thing. I've been pawned off like a Michael Vick. It took my very bad, very liable to hurt itself dog and turned it into a very good dog.
Yes. I'm not saying it didn't work. I just like giving you shit about it. That's the most important thing to me.
I now have a very good dog that has not run out into traffic not one time since.
But yeah, tomorrow here on the program, Jeremy's going to be wearing the dog collar, and I don't know what this is all about, but apparently special medical correspondent / marketing genius Devin is now out on Facebook looking for cattle prods and tasers. And
you hit me with, let me just give this one PSA.
I don't like how
and
this
I
is
really
going.
want that camera to be right here on my face. If you hit me with a fucking taser, I will fight you like a man. Let that be known. I've been hit with a taser, and I don't plan on doing it again.
Yeah, I have never been hit by a taser, and I have long said I never intend to be hit with a taser.
I've been hit with a taser, and it sucks a lot. Even a little low res one, they're like, oh, it's only 50,000 volts. Piss off.
But I agree with you. I believe the Lakers are going to beat the Houston Rockets like a kettle drum. But last night, 104 to 102, the final score, and actually it was James Harden's defense that showed up out of nowhere.
There's a phrase I never thought I'd hear.
Well, he wasn't doing it offensively. What was he, 3 of 14, I think, from the
It was
field?
very few of very many.
Yeah, he was not good last night offensively, and it shocked me the most because I did not think that Houston Rockets could beat the Oklahoma City Thunder if James Harden was not having a good night. And Russell Westbrook didn't really fill it up either. I mean, it does help that you had 3 guys on the team score 20 points. And Harden almost made it 4. He had 17, but he was 4 of 15 from the field. And normally, and 1 of 9 from three-point range, which is very un-Harden-like. So I think yesterday was just a surprise all around.
Brent Continola, you're absolutely right. I hope I said your name right. You're absolutely right. That under did hit. If you've been listening to my betting picks on our afternoon show, 9-3 this week. Would have been 10-2 if I'd just trusted myself.
Yeah.
But I waffled.
At the last moment, he waffled on the over-under on the Heat-Miami game, and that one went over.
Barely.
Yes. 116 to 114, the Heat beat the Milwaukee Bucks in one of the weirdest finishes I have ever seen. My first question has to be, though, how is Goran Dragic standing there with his hands up like this, not leaning into the shooter? How's that a foul?
Because officials. Last night was not a banner night for the NBA. The officiating in that game was absolutely fucking atrocious. Mm-hmm. And if that's a foul on Dragic, we might as well just. I mean, everything's a foul. Yep. He could not have played that any better. Mm-hmm. And then you have, after that, after you've already just god-awful call, then you come down on the other end and whistle Giannis for one where I'm not even sure he touched it.
Was that a makeup, though? You think it was a makeup call?
If it's a makeup, that was absolutely the wrong way to do it. Mm-hmm. He didn't even touch him. I mean, he literally gleaned right by him. And the officials that was a great game. Mm-hmm. First of all, the Heat got lucky as hell because that would have been an epic collapse. And they were up, 8 with 2 minutes to go?
Yep.
And you damn near found a way to lose. Because if that had gone to overtime, they would have lost. Mm-hmm. Because every ounce of momentum was with Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But you can't whistle shit like that in the playoffs.
No.
You just can't do it. You can't, as an official, you cannot make yourself the biggest part of the narrative in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And it seems like we have this at least 2 times a year, every year in the playoffs. It's an atrocious call.
Yep. The Miami Heat were up 114 to 111 on the Bucks when they called that foul on Dragic and allowed Chris Middleton to go to the line, hit all 3 free throws, tie it up at 114, and then with the foul on the other end that I can only imagine was a makeup call for the foul on Chris Middleton, they realized, oh, wait a minute, we just possibly stole this game away from the Miami Heat.
But I hate the makeup call. Mm-hmm. I despise, as a coach, and we all know when it happens. I mean, it's happened to me many times before that I have something happens and I lose my shit, and as soon as we come down on the other end, there's a little ticky-tack ass makeup. Like, that doesn't make up for what you did.
Yeah.
That you screwed it up. Just roll on. Let's just go. All right, if the Dragic, let's say the Dragic foul, let's say that game goes to overtime, you still had 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You had 5 minutes to win this game. I would have had zero sympathy for the Heat. But then you come down on the makeup call and you completely take the game away from Milwaukee.
Yep.
That's unforgivable to me. Mm-hmm. Because that is, I disagree with Robbie Wright. I think the first one was worse. I really do. In spite of the fact that Giannis does not hit, I mean, if he touches him, it was just barely. Mm-hmm. And it didn't affect shit. Mm-hmm. Goran Dragic could not have played better defense. I couldn't have taught a kid to play better defense than that. He is straight up as a board. His fingers didn't even curve down.
Yeah.
And he didn't undercut him. And Doris Burke, who, by the way, I know a lot of people don't like her, she's the best analyst ESPN has. She's probably the best analyst in basketball. Mm-hmm. Who was she doing that game with last night?
I have no idea.
I can't remember his name. I'm blanking on his name. He's sitting here trying to say, oh, he undercuts him. No, the hell he didn't. Mm-mm. You could not have defended that better.
And I was trying to figure out, is this a gag? Is the guy just trying to is he trying to make some kind of controversy out of this? Because I saw it the way Doris saw it.
I think I read Robbie Wright's comment wrong now that I've read it twice. I think he agreed with me.
The Giannis
confirm that one way or the other. I think I read it wrong, and if I did, I apologize.
No, but I agreed with Doris that there is no better way to play perimeter defense than the way Goran Dragic did, and that was an absolute travesty of a call.
And it's something that we never see in the NBA.
But I don't.
How long has it been since you saw a guy go straight up on a three in the NBA? I haven't seen that in 5 years. Every time, it's the same thing every time. The guy loses his man and then closes out and collapses through it and hits him on the follow through. That's how everybody in the NBA plays defense.
Yep. And he might have touched him, but it wasn't forceful. I don't know. I've always had a problem with that. One of the more interesting things I thought in yesterday's game was when it was coming up on halftime, I thought the game was over. Because remember, Giannis goes out with 4 minutes left in the first half with 3 fouls. And I thought, there's no way. He's in foul trouble now, and they're going to keep going at him. For some reason, that didn't happen in the second half, and I thought, because Jimmy Butler was picking up, tiki-tack fouls on Giannis in the first half.
Well, here's the thing.
Second half, it didn't happen.
We're gonna the narrative today is going to be all about the Dragic foul and the Butler Giannis foul at the end of the game.
Yep.
That's going to be the talk of all of this. The officiating was horrible throughout the whole game. It never got better. At one point in the first quarter, it was Big Cat from Barstool shared a graphic that I think the Heat were like 10 of 11 or the Bucks were like 10 of 11 from the free throw line, and the Heat hadn't shot one yet.
Yeah.
It should never go that way, ever. You got to call it equal on both sides, and I guarantee you one team's not playing that much more aggressively. Not with the way the Bucks play defense.
Right.
I wasn't watching it as intently at that point, but anytime it's that big of a discrepancy, something's off.
But now this series is 2-0 in favor of the Miami Heat.
I think they win it in 5.
You think so?
I don't see any way Milwaukee can beat them 4 out of 5 games. I don't buy it.
No.
Because the Heat have a really an easily replicated brand of basketball because they play. I about made up a word there. I saw that look in your eye.
I was wondering where you were going.
They have a brand of basketball that is really easy to replicate because they play good defense. You're not coming inside on them. They do rely on the 3 a lot, but that's what Milwaukee gives up. And I got news for you. If you give Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero that many looks at 3, they're going to shoot 35%.
Yep.
And that's enough to beat Milwaukee in this series.
Last night,
I do have to hold up before we change this topic. Yeah. I do have to take my victory lap, just since now all 8 first-round series are over. You remember the day the playoffs kicked off, and I told you I could pick 7 of 8 winners?
Yes.
7 of 8 winners. Almost. I was one Lugensdort 3 away from being 8 for 8.
Yep. Good for you.
Yep.
And that's the one you boo-booed.
And I'm going to pick 3 or 4 here.
Okay.
Lakers, Celtics, Heat, and my Nuggies.
And the Nuggies.
I disagree completely with Charles Barkley dismissed them like, oh, they can't win.
Yep.
Okay, let me ask you a very simple question. Now that we have the 2 Western Conference matchups set up, who in the world is going to guard Nikola Jokic?
I can't figure it out.
I can't either. And people are talking about, oh, Jamal Murray's not a transcendent talent. Did you watch the last series? Just because he's new good doesn't mean he's not good.
Right. I don't know. I don't know who you could possibly put on Jokic to, the way that they.
I can tell you with every big guy, Ivica Zubac will get in foul trouble immediately because he cannot come away from the basket.
Yep.
Montrezl Harrell's too small. I think, and I really hope I'm right here because this will be a freaking train wreck. I think they put Paul George on him. I think it's the only thing they can do because he comes too far away from the basket.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, all right, let's say you do that. Who the hell is Zubac going to guard when he's on the floor? He's completely worthless. If they do that, you're playing 4 on 5.
Yeah, he's like a clogger.
Yeah.
He's just going to stand outside the box.
And Jokic would beat him like a kettle drum.
Yep.
Frankly, I don't think any solution to this is going to be a good solution. And now that they figured out they need to pull Porter off the bench and let him be the spark on the second team, do you realize how bad the second team for the Clippers has been? It's atrocious. defensively. They can score points. But defensively, they are terrible. Michael Porter could come in and play 30 minutes a game, 28, 30 minutes a game, and be the difference in this series. And that's what nobody's going to talk about, because they're going to put him out there when Kawhi's not on the floor. Because they're not going to risk putting Porter on Kawhi. He's not a great defender. And Kawhi could definitely make some hay on him.
What do you do with Jamal? Are you leaving Patrick Beverley to guard Jamal, or are you moving Kawhi?
The problem with
to
Patrick
lock him
Beverley, the flaw of Patrick Beverley, and Robbie Wright, you're completely right. If there's a coach that can figure this out, it's Doc Rivers.
Yes.
You know, the larynx himself, he will figure out a way to do this.
They're a tough team.
Don't blame Blake. Don't blame Blake. It's not Blake's fault. If anybody can figure it out, it's Doc Rivers.
Right.
But all of the pieces just don't line up to me. And the Nuggets have the thing that the Nuggets have always done well is the thing that the Clippers don't adjust well to. The Nuggets just throw guys at you. They have 100 guys. I mean, and I'm obviously biased. This is like watching a Leonard Hamilton Florida State team. Oh, you didn't like that first that first group didn't work for us? Here's 5 more. Let's see how you do with this. And I don't see how the Clippers are going to adjust to that, because they're not an overly deep team.
No.
I love Terrence Mann, but the fact that he's gotten any minutes in the playoffs kind of tells me you don't have enough players. At least not to play with this team.
Right.
This team has a shitload of players.
They do. And they have a whole lot of talent. The Clippers, I mean, they have a lot of decent guys. And I think, I don't know, I was listening this morning, and, you know, the morning show on ESPN, we're talking about the Denver Nuggets, and I think it was Jay Williams who said that the Nuggets have Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and then nothing.
And he's
And
wrong.
I went, oh, really?
You're forgetting about a Michael Porter Jr. that's real damn good and a 4-time All-Star in Paul Millsap.
Yep.
That's the forgotten guy here. Of which he's going to be the forgotten guy in this series, too, because Montrezl Harrell is going to lock him down.
Avika might be able to guard him.
I don't like Ivica Zubac on him.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I can't figure out where he goes. And if you take him out, it's very Joakim Noah-y very quickly.
It does. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna answer. I mean, Marcus Morris. He might be the guy to, he might be that bee in the bonnet for
who?
I don't know.
He can't guard Nikola Jokic.
No.
Straight up, he can't guard him.
No. I'm just trying to think of any
He's a
possibility.
matchup
They're gonna
nightmare.
They're gonna have to double team and all that, and when you start doing that, I mean, that pick and roll is gonna be on point.
Again, Brent Continola's on fire today. The Nuggets are +8 tonight. Let me say that again. The Nuggets are +8 tonight. Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing. And the Clippers haven't played in 4 days. Nuggets played night before last. And in this bubble, I really think that matters. I honestly do.
You think it's going to matter?
Well, because what do you do? What are these guys doing? They're sitting around playing PlayStation and
I'm pretty sure they've been practicing.
Well, I mean, and that's fine, but you haven't gotten a game lather up in 4 days, which is probably the first time that since this started that you could say that. And everybody rest and all that. I get it. It's nice. The thing of that is that you do. It takes about a day to get out of your routine, and I feel like I'm right there with you. I'm taking the Nuggets +8 tonight. Spoiler for the afternoon show. That's going to be one of them.
Nuggets and the Clippers tonight at 9 o'clock in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. And then you've got Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics. Is this one over in 4?
I don't know how it's not. I think Toronto, you said it before while we were doing the setup for the show today. I think Toronto's fight at some point is going to win them a game. I don't think they're good enough. And I've said that since before the playoffs even started. I think this team has a fatal flaw of that they only have one guy that can really take the game over. And Van Vliet's been like fool's gold to me. He's been so good that you can't replicate that. And as soon as that stopped happening, they started losing. I told you before the show, do you realize that since the playoffs started, the Celtics and the Heat are a combined 12-0?
Yep.
And I think they're on a collision path for each other.
I think they are as well.
Which, by the way, would be a dumb good series. Just like the best series we could possibly have. Ignorantly good basketball.
The more and more I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, or the Miami Bucks series, the more and more I think Giannis is going to end up in Miami next year.
I've thought that for a minute. Here's the thing about Pat Riley. He doesn't get told no very often. You ever notice that? Every time the Heat have ever had... Because I'm sure Giannis loves Milwaukee. I'm sure he does. But I guarantee, when I saw him last night after the foul, and he was crouched down at the scorer's table, and he had this look on his face. And maybe I'm overanalyzing this, and I've done that before. I feel like he was looking at the floor going, we can't win. No matter what we do, we can't win. Because the Miami Heat did not play well last night. That's probably the worst game they're going to play in this series. And they still won. And I feel like Giannis just looked around and went, I can't win with this.
Well, now, I thought they played better in Game 2 than they did in Game 1.
The Heat?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Really?
Literally out of your mind.
I mean, offensively speaking.
I'm going to go again, out of your mind. Jimmy Butler was 3 of 8. Duncan Robinson was 4 of 9. Jay Crowder was 5 of 13. He cooled off. Shot way too many threes. They settled for shit threes way too often. Tyler Hero was 3 of 8 from 3. They shot 37%. They shot 45 threes. It was not an efficient game. It was not an overly good game. And like Barkley said, there is part of me that wonders, is Giannis a Pippen that needs a Jordan?
Yeah.
I've always said I have a problem with a star player that can't shoot. I literally name me any star player in the history of the NBA that couldn't shoot. In the comments, if you got one, please let me know, because I've been thinking about this for 12 hours and I ain't come up with one yet.
But if you took Giannis and put him with Jimmy Butler and all of those three-point shooting pieces that are around them, is there another team in the NBA that could beat them?
No.
I don't think so.
They become the most impossible team to score on immediately. And you've got three-point shooters that can just shoot you out of the gym.
And the other thing is they're young, and they're not going anywhere.
No.
You got Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Those guys are there to stay.
And you have to think about the mental aspect of this. There's not a person that can hear my voice right now that would rather live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin than live in South Beach. I've been to both. One depresses the hell out of me, and one I don't ever want to leave. It's not that hard to figure out. One has warm weather and pretty girls, and the other one's Milwaukee. It has really good beer.
Woohoo! Really good beer. Okay.
You can have beer brought to your house.
I don't think that's a real challenge. If someone says, we'll give you your choice of where you want to live, nobody's picking Milwaukee.
The biggest thing with Giannis is going to be, I think there's a bidding war coming of Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic versus Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know which one wins because they're both fantastic cities. But I think when Giannis was sitting there kneeling at the scorer's table, I think it was marinating on him. I cannot win with this setup the way it is. I can't. I cannot win with this.
I mean,
because there's no way when you come up against a team like the Heat that is not allowing him to get to the basket. What else is he going to do? I mean, really think about what happened last night. All right, Giannis he had 29 points, rebounded the ball well, that's all well and good. Middleton 6 of 15, Bledsoe 6 of 14. Brook Lopez was sadly enough, probably the best player on the floor for them the majority of the night.
Right.
And he just looks, I feel like he's just looking around going, it couldn't be any better. Like, it can't be any better.
Yeah, it's not.
This is where we are.
Yeah. It's not going to get better. It won't get better with that team, I don't feel. And I don't know that there's a free agent that they could add that would make it better.
Here's the thing. Name me the free agent that's ever willingly gone to Milwaukee. That was a high-end free agent. They don't.
No.
Think about every big free agent that's moved. They don't go to Milwaukee. They don't go to Cleveland. That's how LeBron ends up in Miami. Anybody that ever doubted LeBron's love for Cleveland, look at what he does in that community, not even living there. He didn't want to leave Cleveland. He just knew. He knew, I can't win here. And this has been a problem in the NBA for 50 years. You get guys in certain situations and they know they can't bring the other guy with them. As soon as this super team thing started, with LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh. As soon as this started, the Milwaukees and the Clevelands and teams like that knew we have to draft well and pray that we become so good that these guys don't want to leave, because that's the only way we can be competitive.
$170 million. Is that too much, or are they getting a deal in Utah with Donovan Mitchell? Word is they're going to sign him to the max contract.
He's a max player.
$170 million.
He's a max player. In Utah especially. Utah has the same problem I just said.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell cannot get out of that building. Whatever the most money they can throw at him is, that's what they should be throwing at him. Because if he gets out of that building, you're an atrocity.
Yep.
I mean, look at that team without him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't care if they gave him $400 million. That's how hard it is to get a player to Utah.
This is very true. This is very true. And at least, if anything, in a couple of years, they've got a fantastic trading chip.
Yeah.
Just like they did with Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
I think it's. I think if anybody in all of this has proved that he's worth a max contract, it's Donovan Mitchell.
I agree.
I mean, after averaging nearly 40 points a game during that first round series with the Denver Nuggets, if that didn't scream max contract to you, I can't help you. And I feel like you need to learn some basketball. But Donovan Mitchell getting his $170 million, I mean, hats off to you, bro. I've always said, go get that money where you can get it. And I think it's a great move all around. Because like you said, the Jazz aren't getting any better. They're never going to hit on another draft pick like they did with Donovan Mitchell.
Most likely no.
Right.
And the Nuggets they're look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now. The NBA is the easiest league in all of sports to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's kind of the outlier. There's an outlier in each conference. So you got two teams from LA, a team in Houston, Boston, Milwaukee that's drafted really well, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest markets.
Yep.
It's the biggest markets outside of New York in the league. There's a reason that they're always here. The Heat missed the playoffs, and it's a story.
Mm-hmm.
If Giannis leaves and the Bucks don't make the playoffs for 10 more years, would it surprise you?
No. No, because they become the Vin Baker Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the way it is.
Yeah, until you get those high draft picks and you hit on them, you're destined to live that life. It's just the way things are. Life ain't fair.
Correct. It's very Republican of you. I feel like the tidewaters are changing every time old Sleepy Joe talks.
Speaking of big market basketball, the Philadelphia 76ers apparently not going to be getting Jay Wright. Jay Wright has taken himself out of that discussion.
Which definitively means he is never going to the NBA ever.
No. This was the most perfect opportunity for him to do so, and I'm not going to fault him for it. If he ever was going to make the jump to the NBA, I think we said it, the first day after they fired their head coach, that Jay Wright would take this job. And now that he's not taking this job, I feel like he's in college basketball forever. And frankly, I think that's good for college basketball.
It's great for college basketball. I'm just a little shocked he's doing it. I'm shocked that Jay Wright looks at the climate of college basketball right now as he's younger than Kay. He's younger than Roy. He's younger than the high-end coaches in the sport. Mm-hmm. I'm shocked that he didn't pull the Billy Donovan and look around and go, ooh, the curtains are on fire. Probably should get out of the house.
But I don't know.
But good for
with
him.
all of this changing, though, we talk about the name, image, and likeness stuff, and the one and done rule is going to be going, so it's going to change the game of basketball. But he never was a part of that. He never was a one and done guy. You think about the championship teams that he's had. Hell, Jalen Brunson was his superstar, and it was a 4-year guy. And he's just the first one that came to the top of mind. Mm-hmm. But you think about the guys that he has built these championship teams around. Dante DiVincenzo. It's a 4-year guy that plays steady, does what he's told to do, and Jay Wright has a hell of a nose for talent, for finding talent where no one else does. Maybe not no one else does, but he takes kind of what the leftovers from the bigger programs and puts together championship teams. And he's like a really great architect who wants to live in Peoria, Illinois.
Well, he's living in Philadelphia right now.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, think about it in this. I'm using the cities as analogies for the leagues. So college basketball would be the Peoria to Chicago. You know, I could go and build skyscrapers and get these big contracts, but I'm an artist.
I disagree with what you just said.
Okay.
The money is better where he's at.
True. For coaches, yeah.
The security is better where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Like Patrick Holt just said, he's a lifer at Villanova. He knows, undeniably, I can stay here for the rest of my life. Nothing I do is ever going to make that, because he brought him a national title.
Two.
He knows, 2 of them.
2 national titles.
He knows I can stay here for life. They're eventually going to put my name on a building. They're probably going to put a statue out in front of the building with my face on it.
Right.
And I can do this for the rest of my life. And I'm set forever.
Yep.
And I can rock badass suits and be the coolest guy in town for the rest of my life.
Right. And at some point, he's going to be the elder statesman that we're all talking about. In another 10 years, not even 10 years. Hell, he's probably got another 7 years before he becomes Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski. I mean, the guy is 57 years old, I believe.
58.
58
Jay
years old.
Wright's 58 years old?
Right.
Jesus. He looks like he's 4 years older than me.
Right.
God, I'm aging bad.
Right.
Jay Wright's aging like fine wine, and I'm aging like milk that somebody left in a car overnight. Ugh. That doesn't make me happy at all.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jay Wright probably takes care of himself a little bit better than you do.
Hey, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say, shut your dirty whore mouth.
See, that's what happens when you take milk and you pour in alcohol. The milk just kind of festers. just trying to, keep you on an even keel here.
I like Irish car bombs. I like milk and alcohol. I do not look older than Jay Wright.
No, you don't.
It's
Did somebody
close,
say
though.
that in the
Yeah.
comments?
Patrick Holt.
Patrick Holt. I think that's comment of the week.
That's a contender.
I think that's comment of the week.
That's a contender. I do not look older than Jay Wright. None of my hair is gray.
But I agree, Patrick.
It's actually gray. You just can't see it.
It's not the sexy move, but it's the smart move. To stay in college basketball where you have all the security in the world, you are king of the mountain. When you come to the NBA is built to be a churn and burn model for coaches. And you think about college coaches that have tried to make that leap into the NBA, and it hasn't worked.
Well, I mean, and you think about Jay Wright. Jay Wright is the definition of an alpha male.
Mm-hmm.
He is the biggest voice in every room he ever walks into. And you know
that.
what? In the NBA, you're not that.
Nope.
And he may not want to do that. He may just look at that and go, no, I want to watch it. He even said in his release, I'm a Sixers fan. I'm a lifelong Sixers fan. I will love them, just I'm not going to be the coach of them. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I respect it.
We are 1 week away. Yee! 1 week from today, we will have the kickoff of the NFL season.
Yee!
Get your fantasy football drafts done. We have decided that the Sports Tank Fantasy Football On the Fly Challenge League is going to be drafting on Monday, Labor Day. We will be doing a live stream from the stage.
Yes.
Okay. For the entire draft, have we worked out? Are we going to be able to get everybody in the same room?
It's looking like we're going to have at least 10 of the 12.
Okay. All right.
One is going to be live drafting from the beach, which I'm very envious of. And there's one more that's on the fence. We're trying to work out some logistics.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to be doing that live stream on Monday. We will not be on this program on Monday morning.
We're taking the day off.
Right, it is Labor Day, and we will not be laboring. So, just a programming note for you. But we are going to start off our 3-day weekend. Just a reminder, by the way, of some good hilarity here tomorrow, as I will be shocking the shit out of Jeremy with his dog shock collar. So tune in for that.
Yeah, Tank convinced me to live out his democratic lifestyle and sit on my ass for a day.
I mean, it's not a bad way to go.
Liberal.
I mean, if you can, if you can do it, do it. Why not?
How Bernie Sanders of you.
I got to get mine. Gots to get mine.
How Bernie Sanders of you.
But we are 1 week away from NFL football. We are oh God, wait. You know what I just realized?
What?
There's college football tonight.
Tonight?
We have Thursday night games this week. Now, granted, it's probably Central Arkansas again.
Don't care.
But
I watched that game. What up? I almost bet on it. Came that close. I mean, I was just a breath away from actually betting that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that's the first step of 3 steps that ultimately lead me into a church basement with bad coffee and stale donuts saying, I'm Jeremy and I have a problem.
Again, I'm going to go back to what I said all through last football season. You were betting on Liberty football.
Liberty did me nicely.
They did.
Liberty Bibberty.
Shocker of shockers. Mr. Republican betting on the Christian University to play football.
Hey, Jerry
Think about
Falwell
that.
would have been here with us today, but he decided to sit in the corner and watch. Oh, wait.
I feel like that was a low blow. But I was
Don't make it that easy on me. Don't say low blow when I'm talking about Jerry Falwell.
Come on.
That makes it
Come
way
on.
too easy. That is low-hanging fruit. And you are better than that.
No, I'm not.
You're right.
I'm not.
You're right.
That's kind of the whole dynamic we've got set up here. I take the snowballs and toss them, and you just knock them out of the
Usually he takes the snowballs and eats them, but you know.
park. Yes.
You know, isn't that what that little pink coconutty thing's called, the snowball?
Yep.
I don't do coconut.
I do.
Ugh.
I do. There's very few things in this world that I won't eat.
Ugh. I have realized in my older age, apparently, I am as picky as a small child.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not realize that because there are just a litany of things that I refuse to eat.
Mm-hmm. Tonight at 8 o'clock, Central Arkansas and UAB,
And
South Alabama and Southern Miss will kick off at 9. Two
I'm
games
doing a fantasy
tonight.
football. Actually, we're both doing a fantasy football auction tonight.
We are.
I might do a live stream of that. Me just sitting in my office with my feet up on the desk and a beer in my hand and yelling numbers at a screen.
There you go. There you go. It's not bad. It's not bad.
If anybody wants to watch me live stream an auction draft, just put it in the comments. I need like one of you to say yes.
I came in.
That's all I need.
I came in this morning feeling really good about things because my team did something yesterday that, okay, while he's not, the greatest running back in the league or anything like that, not even close to that conversation, still feel like he's a major upgrade for a team that's got Super Bowl aspirations. And yeah, me and our new producer, Ronnie, going to be partying like it's 2002 because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up Leonard Fournette to a 1-year possible $3.5 million deal, incentives and all of that included for him to hit the $3.5 million mark. But I think for real that it is it's going to happen. We're going to be in the hunt.
My dad just commented fish sticks. That's one of the when I was a non-picky child, excuse me, that was one of the few things I wouldn't eat. Fish sticks are disgusting.
Yeah.
You're disagreeing with me. Right?
No, I'm not. I mean, when you think about the hierarchy of food, fish sticks is definitely down on the bottom level. It depends on what kind of fish sticks you get, though.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. If you get like, and I don't want to offend Walmart because I love Walmart, but you get like the Great Value brand fish sticks, pretty gross. Gorton's fish sticks, on the other hand, the one with the ship captain with the slicker suit on, those are not bad. No?
Gross.
No? All fish sticks, just you're
Ugh.
out. So
It's like the spam of the sea. It's just gross as hell.
there's a difference. There's a difference in the fish sticks. If you can break open the fish and actually see fish meat, it breaks apart and has that little,
Oh.
I don't know what that is,
Oh.
the grain of the meat. You know what a fish stick looks like. And then there's those other ones that are a little tiny. They kind of look like chicken fries from Burger King, and you pop them open, and there's no texture.
Those chicken fries. Oh,
Don't you diss the chicken
God,
fry.
they taste like deer ankles. They taste like that Impossible bullshit burger we
No.
ate yesterday.
They are way better than that. Way better than that. You put that little the zesty Burger King sauce that you get the.
I like the zesty sauce.
Right.
But those chicken fries, there is nothing. Literally, there is there's never been anything close to a chicken in that. Chicken doesn't taste like that. At least not chicken that, didn't have some kind of cholera or, dysentery or they got the,
That's just those are just the chickens that are actually born inside the grinder. They don't even wait for them to grow. They just churn them up as chicks. They got the feathers in there and stuff. It's not bad.
Beaks.
You got to pick them out of your teeth a little.
Yeah, that's how they make those chicken fries. That's a bunch of ground up feathers and beaks and
fish. So fish sticks. That's where you draw the line.
Oh no, I draw the line much further than that. That's just the one I've hated that since I was a kid.
Okay.
I've gotten into mushrooms are disgusting.
You're weird.
Olives there's not an olive on earth that doesn't taste like it. Ugh.
That doesn't taste like what?
Awful. Just awful.
Black olives. I love black olives.
They're gross.
You get the hollow black olives. Go buy a little tube of anchovy paste and fill them up. Oh, it's tasty. It's a good football weekend snack.
Is there anything you won't eat?
No, that's my point. There are very few things in this world that I will not eat. I feel a challenge coming, and this is starting to scare me.
100%.
What is this? Mechanically separated chicken equals roadkill.
Somebody said that all they've heard through this whole segment is that Kanye West South Park episode. Me too. I've resisted saying that about 6 times.
Patrick, you're firing on all cylinders today, buddy.
All day, every day.
Pansy.
I'm not pickier than a 6-year-old. I just have gotten to a point in my look. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
All right. My career arc is not looking great because basically everything I do on a daily basis pretty much said I've tapped out on my 60s. So, I'm not going to live long enough to eat fish sticks and shit.
Right. We sometimes rarely plan for this program, much less plan for 30 years from now in our lives.
If I make it to this time next week,
you consider that a win?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've done okay.
But yes, as we led into that rabbit hole, you want to do your little
boing, boing, boing.
Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked up Leonard Fournette on a 1-year deal. He becomes the best running back option that they have now, and I feel like while it's not the greatest, as I texted Jeremy last night, yay, get ready for 2-yard runs and 3-yard catches out of that backfield. But with that, I think he just adds another threat to the offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm starting to believe.
You think they're going to win a Super Bowl, don't you?
I think they're going to get close.
I don't.
You don't think even
And Leonard Fournette sure as hell didn't change anything.
You don't.
Fat Leonard Fournette did not make me feel better about your chances. Doug Marrone looked at the most bereft roster of talent in the NFL and went, "Fuck that guy." And that's the guy you're going, "Yep, riding with him."
And you know why?
Because your running back room was terrible.
Yes, and because last night so the news came out. I was in the middle of a live fantasy football draft, so it's probably about 9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock that news came out, and I bet you a dollar to a donut, as Jeremy likes to say, that by 9:03, Tom Brady was on the telephone with Leonard Fournette saying, "Cut the shit. You're coming here to play. You better fucking be ready, or else you're not going to be a part of my offense." Plain and simple. And he's a guy that can carry that kind of weight. When Tom Brady speaks, everyone listens. I don't care how hard-headed you are. I don't care how much you like to sleep in team meetings. I don't care how much you like to miss practices. When Tom Brady says you're going to show up and you're going to be ready to play, you either going to be there or Tom Brady's going to get you kicked out of town.
I feel like he's going to be the Jacksonville version or the Tampa Bay version of Sony Michel. 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Yep.
I don't think he's one of the worst pass catching running backs in the NFL. Don't give me the stats on the catches. I can kill that quickly.
Okay.
Because he was one of the worst yards per catch players in NFL history.
Agreed. He had a bunch of them.
Because he just doesn't do it well. Mm-hmm. When he leaks out of the backfield, he's turned the wrong way and he catches it off balance, and he can't turn momentum into power. And I mean, I could go down this rabbit hole, but I don't think anybody really gives a shit.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with Tom Brady. Tom Brady has to have a guy, and I don't know if it's Keyshawn Vaughn or if it's Ronald Jones. Somebody's going to be the pass catching back for Tom Brady.
It's Keyshawn Vaughn.
I think you're right, but I don't know that.
Well, the thing was with when they had Peyton Barber last year and Ronald Jones.
That's the role that I think I think Leonard Fournette's in the Peyton Barber role.
But he's way better than Peyton Barber.
Yes, he is.
So
and he's a good pass protector.
Uh-huh.
That's another Kevin Vick really good point. He is a really good pass protector, which Brady needs.
Mm-hmm.
Brady, if you look at my team and the Buffalo Bills for the last 20 years, the one thing that Brady cannot deal with is interior pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And having a running back that can pick that up there is a value to that. There is certainly a value to that.
He's like a glorified fullback, really. That's how they'll use him in Tampa Bay.
That can't be true.
What?
Keep going. What I just read cannot be true.
I think picking up Leonard Fournette is going to make a difference for this offense. And I think that, it
is true.
What is true?
We have breaking news on this show.
Ooh, who's going to break the news?
Do not look at the comments because I want to see your face when I say this.
Okay.
The Brooklyn Nets have hired their coach. And he's a Hall of Famer. And his name is Steve Nash. Steve Nash, Hall of Fame guard Steve Nash has signed a 4-year deal to become the next coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
What?
I have no idea.
Steve Nash, that came completely out of left field.
Good looking out, Brent Cotnola, because I would have never seen that in the next 10 minutes.
Holy moly.
That is we got to talk about that now.
Why not? Why not? Give him a shot.
It does do what Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving wanted. That's a guy that they respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, it shocked me when I first read it. It's still shocking me, to be really honest with you. But look what he did with the Canadian basketball team. They were a speed bump before him. Mm-hmm. Now they're competitive.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy that's going to get into a locker room and he's going to be able to command a presence. He's going to be able to talk to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and tell them what Tom Brady...
I've been here.
Yeah,
I've done this.
Yeah, but he's going to be able to tell them what I believe Tom Brady has told Leonard Fournette. Cut the shit. Let's figure out a way to coexist as a team here. Put the Cinderella stuff away, and if you do that, we can win a championship. Because I think it's a team that can.
Because 2020.
Steve Nash.
Patrick Holt. I'm giving you credit for that one. I don't think it's a bad hire. I think it's the best hire they could have. I like it a hell of a lot better than Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do. I like it a lot better than Tyronn Lue.
I just wonder.
This is swinging for the fences.
Other than the Canadian basketball team, does he have any other experience?
Not to my knowledge.
Coaching.
Not to my knowledge.
That would be my only concern.
And you talk about, I don't know how to drive a stick, and we just threw you the keys to a Maserati. Figure the shit out. So that will be my biggest fear with Steve Nash. But I don't hate the hire at all.
He knows how to carry himself.
100%.
I felt like he was, when he went to Los Angeles, when he went to play with the Lakers and Kobe, I felt like that was a good fit because he's always been a leader. And, I never saw Kobe Bryant as that. I didn't.
Wow. I'm still just baffled. I love Twitter for this exclusively.
The breaking news?
Yeah, that's it. People telling me to have sex with myself and get killed in car wrecks, I'm not real fond of. But the breaking news things, I'm a big fan.
I like it. Steve Nash will have more coverage on that coming up this afternoon as we are able to digest this news. But him becoming the new head coach of the Brooklyn Nets definitely makes a major impact in the Eastern Conference, especially if we're talking about possibly Giannis being moved.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
We got to talk about your college football team, though.
Yes, we do. The Georgia Bulldogs got some surprising news yesterday.
Wasn't surprising to me at all.
As Wake Forest transfer quarterback Jamie Newman, who immediately when he transferred to Georgia was placed, I think it was 5th in the odds to win the Heisman Trophy in 2020. has opted out for the season. Now, all of this is because the official excuse is over concerns of the virus, but it's really because JT Daniels came over from USC and beat him out for the job. I don't think there was any question that was going to happen. The biggest questions with JT Daniels coming to Georgia was, is he going to be able to get a waiver from the NCAA to play immediately? And is he completely over his, what was it? Was it an ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he tore his ACL, and that recovery, they weren't sure if that was going to linger on into the beginning of this season. Now, JT Daniels got cleared medically. JT Daniels got the waiver from the NCAA. He came in, and all I have heard since he joined the Bulldogs and started practice was that this is the dude. So it only makes sense that Jamie Newman would make this call because he's not going to play.
The only thing that worries me about JT Daniels is his size. But this was a very good quarterback at times at USC, with Clay Helton calling the shots. Now he's got Kirby Smart, and he's got the level of prospect they've been recruiting for the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
I said this the minute JT Daniels transferred to Georgia. We were still recording from my house when this broke, and I told you, why in the world would they start Jamie Newman over this guy? He's a redshirt sophomore. Now, granted, he could be otherworldly good this year and come out, but I don't look for that to happen. I don't think he's, there are reasons for that I don't have time to go into, but I don't think that would happen. But you certainly you have more opportunity with him for this to be a long-term fix than you did with Jamie Newman. Well, and I never thought Jamie Newman was that great. I watched him at Wake Forest. He's a good runner. I don't think he's a great thrower of the ball.
It helped him out that he had really good receivers at Wake Forest, and he was going to have that at Georgia. I mean, George Pickens, he emerged last year as like one of the next big wide receivers in college football, and that was one of the things that Georgia did not have last year was receivers. So what did they do? Kirby Smart hit the campaign trail, hit the recruiting trail.
He's too locked into Biden.
Right.
He's riding with Biden over here. He's too locked into the campaign trail.
I'm hoping to see somebody do something on the campaign trail. I mean, Jesus.
Huge. It's going to be a huge 4 more years.
Huge.
4 more huge years of being your president. You're so lucky to have me as your president.
Oh, God help us all. But no, he gets the recruiting trail. He gets on the recruiting trail, and he goes out, and I think it was four-star wide receivers that they signed up for this year. So he was going to have another good receiving core with Georgia. So it made sense. But then when you got JT Daniels thrown into the mix, now that's a guy that can win a Heisman Trophy.
Let me ask you this. I agree with Patrick Holt, who's very attached to Wake Forest. Just let that be known.
Okay.
Who said he was not that good. I couldn't believe he was on Heisman watch list. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. The thing that I don't quite know, do you feel better about Georgia today with knowing JT Daniels is the starter, or when they had Jamie Newman?
I feel better today.
I do too. Now, I don't feel as good now that they don't have the backup of JT Daniels. Having 2 quarterbacks like that, you're almost bulletproof.
I think they already have a 4-star behind
They
him,
do, but he's real young. He's a freshman.
That's fine. We've done that before, too. Georgia, if you'll remember, Georgia's done true freshman quarterbacks pretty well. Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm. I think those are the 2 most recent in memory. I think they've done fine. Aaron Murray, I believe, was also a true freshman starting quarterback. So we do that pretty well. I feel fantastic about Georgia now. I mean, I didn't understand it to begin with.
I didn't either.
So it just makes sense now. And Jamie Newman, I mean, I'm sure he's going to be a long-time backup in the NFL. I don't see him as anything other than that. I don't think he'll ever become, I mean, he might reach like Tyrod Taylor level. Like at some point, he might fall on some team where he ends up getting the starting job for a year, just like Tyrod Taylor. I just don't understand. Be honest, I guess is what I'm getting at. Be honest about why you're opting out of the season. the opportunity wasn't as great as I thought it was, or something to that effect. Don't come out and tell me that you're scared of the virus, because that's not why you opted out. You opted out because you know now you're not going to play. JT Daniels is the starter, and how's that going to look on you when you're the fifth-year transfer quarterback?
And you're the backup. And I firmly believe that. Mm-hmm. I think he knew he was going to be backup, and that's why he opted out.
If he had stayed and, played good soldier, senior leader kind of thing, it would have hurt his draft stock, I believe.
I don't.
Really?
I think this hurts his stock a lot, because now so here's the problem with Jamie Newman. A lot of what we were seeing is things that people like me that evaluate this and scout this. We were looking at the projection of what's he going to do at Georgia. Now we have to go back and really analyze the tape at Wake Forest. And I'm telling you right now, the best game he played all year was against North Carolina, and there is nothing about that tape that makes me think he's an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I could see Jamie Newman falling to day 3 now, straight up. And you heard it here first. I've seen him in the first round of mock drafts. I'm telling you right now, he's not a day 1 guy. I think he'll be lucky to be a day 2 guy.
Mm-hmm. This does nothing for the projections of Georgia as a top 5 team, and I think if anything, it helps them. When the next poll comes out, they might be number 2. Who knows?
Could be.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to the program this morning. Don't forget, tomorrow we are going to have right here on this program Jeremy putting on the dog collar, and I'm going to have the button.
I don't like this. I regret agreeing to this.
We're going to have a lot of fun before we kick off a 3-day weekend. It is Labor Day weekend. We've got college football tonight. We've got NBA playoffs tonight. We've got fantasy drafts hot and heavy over the next 5 days to the start of the NFL season, which again is just 1 week from today. Cannot wait, and we'll be here with you all throughout right here in the Sportsocracy. Also this afternoon at 3 p.m. on ESPN Asheville for the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene. You can hear it everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Take it everywhere you go. Don't forget to like, share, follow, comment on the Sportsocracy at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. And tomorrow also, get in those comments while you can, because tomorrow we'll be giving away this week's prize pack for the best comment of the week. Prize pack including not only Sportsocracy merch, but also a gift certificate to Ohana Nutrition. All right, Jeremy, that's going to do it for us. You guys have a great day. We'll see you this afternoon on the radio show and back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yep.
Just boiling in